Next, let's hear from Mugda, a 15-year-old student who remains unfazed even in times of adversity. She prefers to encounter any problem with audacity and emerges victorious. She is affable and aspires to become a leading entrepreneur and a social activist. Besides being an academic prodigy, she is pursuing spirituality and yogic practices.
Before I start, I have a confession to make. I procrastinated writing the speech. When I first got invited to speak at TEDx, I was thrilled. I opened a new document titled The Psychology of Procrastination Final Draft, and then I thought I'll watch YouTube for just 5 minutes and then start. An hour later, I found myself lost watching shorts on productivity while doing absolutely nothing productive. Sounds familiar, right? Congratulations! You, like me, are a card-carrying member of the Procrastination Club, a club with unlimited memberships and no meetings, because, well, we keep postponing them. So here I am, talking about procrastination after procrastinating, writing this very speech. And honestly, I couldn't have asked for a better example of research in action. Let's begin with basics. Procrastination isn't just being lazy or careless. In fact, people who procrastinate often care too much. Psychologists define it as the voluntary delay of tasks you intend to do, even after realizing that delaying it will make things worse. Think about all those times you said, I'll do it after lunch, I'll do it after dinner, and after watching a whole Netflix series, you finally said, I'll do it tomorrow. And you believed it. But procrastination isn't about time, it's about emotion. We don't put things off because we can't manage our time. We put them off because we can't manage how we feel about the task. That essay that makes you anxious, that assignment that feels overwhelming, that test that scares you. Avoiding it gives you a temporary relief, and that relief feels good. The problem is it doesn't last. So what's happening inside our heads? Imagine two people living inside your brain. One is the rational planner, your prefrontal cortex. It is responsible for your goals, discipline, and about your foresight. The other is the emotional child, your limbic system. It only cares about what feels good right now. When you decide, I'll start studying tonight, your planner is in charge. But as the evening arrives, your emotional brain takes over and says, wait, let's just watch one episode. And suddenly, it's midnight, you're still on Netflix, and your planner is quietly crying in a corner. This struggle is why procrastination feels so illogical. It's not that we don't want to do the task. We want to avoid how doing it feels. Neuroscientists have even found that people who chronically procrastinate have a more active amygdala, the part of your brain that deals with fear and stress. As psychologist Dr. Timothy Patil explains, procrastination is not a time management problem, it's an emotional management problem. We aren't avoiding the task, we are avoiding the feeling. So if it's emotional, what emotions are we really avoiding? First, fear of failure. Sometimes we don't start because we're afraid of how the result might reflect on us. If we never try, we can always say, I could have done better if I had tried. It protects our ego but stunts our growth. Perfectionism. Perfectionists are professional procrastinators. We wait for the right time, the right idea, the right plan, but that moment rarely happens. As once an author said, if you wait for inspiration to write, you're not a writer, you're a waiter. Third, shame and guilt. After procrastinating, we feel guilty, and that guilt makes it harder for us to start. We criticize ourselves for not starting earlier, creating a cycle of shame and avoidance. Interestingly, researchers found that people who forgive themselves for procrastinating are often much less likely to do it again. So maybe the first step to overcoming procrastination is just being kind to yourselves. Now let's address one of the biggest lies students tell themselves. I work best under pressure. I have said it too. But science disagrees. That adrenaline rush we feel before a deadline isn't focus, it's stress. Our brains switch to survival mode, not creativity mode. We might complete the task, but its quality suffers, our sleep suffers, and our sanity definitely suffers. The truth is we don't work best under pressure. We just work under pressure because we left ourselves no choice. There's another interesting reason we procrastinate. We're bad at empathizing with our future selves. Studies show that when you think of future me, our brains treat that person as a complete stranger. So when you say, I'll do it tomorrow, your brain essentially says, let future me deal with it, they'll be fine. But here's the problem. Future you is just present you, but more tired, more stressed, and probably holding a cup of coffee at 2 a.m. When we procrastinate, we aren't rebelling against anyone else, but betraying our own future. Believe me when I say, the toughest part of any task isn't completing it, it's starting it. Psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik found that once we start something, our brain keeps reminding us to complete it. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. That's why once you write the first sentence of your essay, it's easier to keep writing. So if you can just start, even for a few minutes, you've already won half the battle. Motivation doesn't come first, action does. You don't get motivated and then start working. You start working and then get motivated. So what can we actually do about procrastination? Here are some simple science-backed strategies. 1. Start small. Don't aim to complete, aim to start. Tell yourself, I'll do this just for 5 minutes. Once you begin, momentum builds naturally. 2. Break it down. Big goals scare our brain. Instead of saying, write the essay, say, write the introduction, or maybe even write the first line. Breaking things down turn a mountain into small, climbable hills. 3. Use the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, like replying to an email or putting your notes away, do it immediately. This prevents small tasks from causing stress later. 4. Create triggers and routines. If you study at the same place and same time every day, your brain starts connecting that environment with focus. Routine reduces decision fatigue. Fewer decisions mean fewer chances to procrastinate. 5. Reward progress. Reward yourself not just for finishing, but for starting too. Watch a show, take a walk, or enjoy something small. When you make progress, our brains love rewards. Use that to your advantage. The 6th one, the final one and the most important one, be kind to yourself. Everyone procrastinate, everyone does. What matters isn't perfection, it's persistence. If you slip, forgive yourself and begin again. As a student, I've realized procrastination isn't about time. It's about fear. Fear of failing, fear of being judged, fear of not being perfect. I used to think procrastination made me weak, but now I see it as a message. A message from my brain that something underneath requires attention. Sometimes it means I'm tired, sometimes it means I'm stressed, and sometimes it means I just need to start small. The moment I stop viewing procrastination as an enemy and start listening to it as a friend, it loses its power, because awareness, not guilt, is what creates change. So here's what I've learned. We spend so much of our lives waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect version of ourselves. But perfection never comes. You don't need to feel ready to start. You need to start to feel ready, because courage isn't not about feeling fear. It's about doing it anyway. As motivational speaker Les Brown once said, you don't have to be great to get started, you have to get started to be great. So the next time you hear that little voice saying, not now, just smile and reply back, watch me. I am Mugdha, a proud member of the Procrastination Club, finally finishing my speech just in time to tell you not to wait too long to start yours. Thank you.